Welcome back for the 39th installment of the Tube Station podcast. It's been a couple week break, and we'll kind of towards the end of the episode we'll get into why that was and kind of the future plans. But we thought this would be a perfect time. We've kind of been sitting on this for all of 2020, pretty much since summer. We've been wanting to do like kind of a BLM episode, but after the Derek Chauvin, or is it Chauvin or Chauvin?
Chauvin. Pretty sure.
The Derek Chauvin murder case, the murder of George Floyd case, whatever you want to call it, that along with the Micaiah Bryant incident that just happened. Did that happen yesterday, or did that happen on 420?
2 days ago.
Okay, so it happened on 420 on Tuesday. So we just wanted to get into these two incidents, and just kind of give our thoughts and what we think about this whole movement that we're a part of right now.
We did a episode right as this was happening. Remember, Minneapolis Riots, I believe, is the title of an episode. Sickles was on it. We kind of just, it's crazy. Because I remember I called him the wrong name, too. My fault. I'm just now apologizing.
Floyd? Weren't we calling him Lloyd?
Lloyd, yeah.
Fuck.
So sorry, again. But, no, seriously, it's crazy to think that was almost a year ago. And now you'd think we could come to some sort of resolution with the sentencing coming up for Derek Chauvin. But just when you think we could maybe take a step forward, it seems like we're just being forcibly shoved backwards by different people at all times, different groups of people. I feel like I'm just in the mob at this point. Of people just getting pushed around.
Yeah, it's been just a year of kind of mob mentality, but everything's kind of starting to change. I think people are starting to wake up, where in last summer, especially when all this was kind of starting, I think a lot of people were just taking what the news was saying and rolling with it. But as time passes and more information comes out, and you see other incidents that they're trying to, that they're pushing and publicizing a lot. Once you start to really step back and look at everything and pick everything apart, you can see that many of these cases are either just built off a complete lie, or they just twist so many little details and leave out stuff to completely flip the narrative. And the narrative that they've been pushing for the past year, probably more honestly, is that if you're walking down the street and you're black, you're going to get shot by a cop.
For doing nothing.
Yeah. Like walking
just because you're black.
Walking in black is a crime. And that's what the news is trying to push over the past year especially.
So with the Derek Chauvin case, we'll start there. Obviously the trial just wrapped up, I believe, on 420. I think it was the same day that the Columbus incident happened. Hours earlier, they released the verdict for Derek Chauvin. He was found guilty on all 3 charges by a jury. They delegated for 10 hours between 2 days. And I'm going to pause there because I just want to talk about being in the jury. And just being in a jury, you've never been on jury duty, right?
No.
Me neither. I don't know if my parents ever have.
It would suck unless it's a murder.
I was going to say, it's unless a part of me is I want to be a part of a case where we have to consider all the facts, you know, and we have to delegate, and there's a big debate in the jury room, and there's all this stuff. That's not the case here. I would rather die than be on this jury because the weight of everything is just on your shoulders.
Yeah, like you want to be on a murder trial, so it's exciting, and you're not sitting there for like possibly weeks, and it's just like super boring.
Like a traffic ticket or
Right,
something.
but at the same
stupid.
time, you don't want it to be like the story of the decade,
Right.
where whatever decision you make, people are going to be pissed, but especially one decision, like you're fucked if you make it.
Which is interesting about them only delegating for 10 hours. Because, like you said, this is easily the case of the decade.
Yes, 10
maybe
hours, like
of the century.
10 hours
far.
is, in comparison to other trials at this level, nothing has even been close to that quick. And everybody, like, that was the thing. Once they came out that the jury had reached their verdict, like, me personally, I don't follow all like court shit a lot, so I don't really like understand it or look into it much. But I did notice multiple people saying like as soon as they heard that, they knew that like he was guilty on all accounts, because to either be guilty or non-guilty, it has to be unanimous. And they're like, well, obviously, there's no way that everybody this quickly said that there's no evidence of any of the charges, including manslaughter. Which manslaughter, it's like it's pretty much there. But yeah, they a couple different people made that point that it was much quicker than anybody anticipated or than is normal for this type of case, I guess.
Right. He'll be sentenced in 7.5 weeks, and that'll be a whole other thing that I also want to talk about. So,
real quick, I was just saying the other day to somebody, like, this all happened in what, like July?
Yeah.
2020, maybe August.
Maybe
June. Okay, June or July. Like, bro, didn't we get Ghislaine Maxwell in, like, March of 20?
Yeah.
What's going on with her? I haven't heard her name in a year.
I looked her up maybe a month ago just to, like, get an update.
Check in, yeah.
And check in on our girl, Ghislaine. Didn't we call her Ghislaine too for a little bit?
Ghislaine. Yeah, I've heard a lot.
I don't give a fuck about that trash can's name. But anyways,
well,
I checked in on her, and they just have no new information, bro. They're just like, yeah, she's just going to sit in that cell for life. And
the
just
last
not say
article's
anything.
from like 8 months ago, and she's probably in one of those like Swedish prisons, which is like,
oh, yeah.
Like full dorm, like nicer than any college dorm in the States by far. Like full
TV,
bathroom, TV.
I think they give you a box. I think they give you an Xbox.
A little workout area. Yeah, she might be running Warzone. Like, we don't even know.
No, yeah. I think they give you Xbox Gold.
They give you a Game Pass. Well, it's just like, I mean, this, like, people are going to be offended when I say this, but, like, it's kind of sickening that, like, we can crank out a case this quickly where, like, a known felon, drug addict, like, unfortunately dies from the cops, not backing anything that Chauvin did, but, like, wouldn't you think that somebody running like an international pedophile ring would maybe be like a little bit above a crackhead getting choked out and dying?
Like, what is prioritized above this? Is what I want to know.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, if it's white on black crime, it's top of the story. Like, it doesn't matter if you caught an international, like, child trafficker, bro. Like, we just got a cop who shot a black dude or, like, killed a black dude.
Right.
Like, we're set. This is at least 2 weeks of news. We're good to go here.
Oh, what's that? Hundreds of young women getting violated and assaulted?
So we got that story. It's like they walk into CNN. All right, we got 2 stories. One, we just caught this woman running an international child
arguably
sex
the worst
trafficking
crime
ring.
in the history of the world.
It is the worst. It is the worst. I think.
Well,
I think
Hitler is.
No. I know, but that's okay. But like Hitler, that was like way more than a crime. That was just like the worst thing in human history, like arguably, or one of them. But
yeah, but like if he went to he could have gone to trial.
Yeah,
theoretically.
I guess. Well, realistically, we would have done it because like we have.
Oh
to.
yeah, we would have brought him in. Like,
we have to.
Imagine him like sitting on the stand, all sad.
Well, I think he would have been. Well, whatever. But what I was gonna say, like, and I'm trying to think as I'm talking, but is what's worse, killing someone or like raping a child?
I mean, I get what you're saying.
Because one's ending a life, so like it's
right.
probably
But ending
that.
a life is like the worst.
But the other is like
matter
attacking the most pure being on the planet.
Yeah. No, like I said, I get what you're saying, but
It's probably murder.
Right.
But
murder is just different level.
I'd be more likely to befriend a murderer than a pedophile, though. 100%.
Yeah, depends
there's
on the
probably
situation,
people. There's definitely people out there who've killed people, and they're like probably like pretty chill people in general, except for when they like kill somebody.
Right,
but, like,
it's a situational thing.
If you're
like,
a pedophile, like that's a type of mindset. Like that's not like an impulse thing. Like fuck, I fucked up and I killed somebody, dude. Like it's like no, dude. Like you're doing shit to kids. Like that's full mental. No.
I can get behind the idea that it takes like a certain level of evil to rape, like you said. Like,
yeah, but I feel like
kill is like
not anybody, but I feel like a lot of people could kill. But like,
I mean, depends on the scenario, obviously.
Right, but I'm saying like, if you were put in like the craziest situation, like there's a chance that you would kill, but there's no chance that you would rape a child.
True.
If that makes sense.
Right.
But fuck it, we're not talking about pedos this episode. We're talking.
Okay,
about
back to the sentencing.
cops.
Right. So the sentencing's happening 7.5 weeks. The maximum sentence for his charges, you could face up to 40 years max for second-degree murder, 25 for third degree, and 10 for manslaughter. So together, that's 75 years.
I think they might be lower for people with no record, though.
They are. So
I
that's
think
where
it's
I
like
was going with this.
12,
is
12
if you
and
don't
4
have a
maybe?
record, yeah, it's like 10 to 15 all together too. Like
Yeah.
you like put them all together and you just kind of like, all right, yeah, this dude like made one bad error. He has all these charges because of this error. He's never made an error before. So like that's just the way the judicial system works. I'm not saying like that's how it should go. I'm just saying that's how it works. And so should get 10 to 15. Now, I'm going to pose two scenarios at you. The first scenario, let's connect it back to what just happened with 10 hours of delegation, so short, and the quick guilty. All three guilty, just
All
send
three.
them. Yeah. So let's say the sentencing comes in 7.5 weeks, and they're like, yeah, we're giving a maximum sentence, 40 years second degree, 25 third degree, 10 for manslaughter. Fuck it, throw them 5 more. That's 80. That's not right. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost exactly how this happened. Like, Chauvin is taking, like, this massive blow. And what he did was terrible. But he's really taking it, like, harder than the average human should, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, nobody, unless... Well, no, I can't even say unless... Like, because I was going to say nobody is going to die on a hill fighting for Chauvin. Like, nobody.
No.
And I was going to say except racist. But, like, that's because I'm getting, like, slightly brainwashed by this media shit. Because if you look at this whole case, nothing has to do with race. Nothing at all.
Nothing.
There were 2 other people in the car with Floyd. Like, they just gave their IDs and, like, they were good. Like, that was it. And, like,
and then if the thing is...
and shit. Like, this...
So my last bullet point here is the other 3 officers will be tried in August for aiding and abetting murder. I'm pretty sure one's Hispanic, one's definitely Asian, like I think Japanese dude. I'm Asian. So, like, this is not like this can't possibly be white versus black. They literally watched a man die. They just stood there.
Right, and it's just like, in the entire trial, the prosecuting, like, team did not once bring up racism because, like, they knew there was, like, there was nothing there. But they didn't have to. Because
it was just murder, like aside from race. Yeah,
But
I get
yeah,
what you're
and
saying.
that they didn't have to convince anybody that he was guilty, that he was racist, because the media just did that. Like, if you go up to the street and ask people, is Derek Chauvin racist? Most people are going to say yes.
Yes.
Unless they looked into unless they really studied the video and like broke down all the parts of the trial and everything, most people are going to be like, yeah, he's the face of the racist cops right now. He's like the figurehead for white cops attacking unarmed black people who did nothing wrong. And it's like
100%.
Okay, sometimes like the cop's going to be white and the victim or the criminal, whatever the case ends up being, is going to be black. Like that's just that'll happen. Sometimes you're going to have a black cop walking up to a white dude like doing something. But it doesn't matter what the situation is. If there's a white cop and a black citizen, guaranteed racist.
Racist.
Guaranteed.
So, yeah. Again, I want to hit on what you just said. That was amazing. Little tangent. But we're going to end this episode with a little, like, kind of just BLM recap. But to kind of summarize this whole trial and the sentencing that's going to come up, my second scenario for you is in 7.5 weeks when the judge does their job and gives him 12, 13 years in prison, I want you to imagine the riots.
Yeah, I don't. We're definitely not out of the woods yet at all.
Dude, they rioted because of they literally rioted 2 days ago. Like people were like rioting. It might have been like out of happiness or something. I don't know, but like there was like protests and riots. Like it was a lose-lose situation.
It's like the thing is like when you're on standby to riot before something happens, like
there's still gonna be people that are like, I mean, we're here.
It's like, all right, dude. Like I called off for the next 3
Right.
days. Like I'm burning something. All right.
Well, no, the people that riot don't have jobs, so that doesn't really.
Yeah, that's true. They just got to make sure they're filling out.
But I just thought it was funny. Like they knew the verdict was gonna come out, so like businesses at this point are just like boarding up their windows must just be like a common occurrence. Like that's part of training when you like get the job.
Every couple weeks in Minneapolis for the past year, you've had to board up your windows.
Well, they probably do it like every day there. Like it's kind of like when you're closing the store and you're like, okay, sweep the floor. Yeah. All right, sweep the floor, clear the tables. Yeah, board up.
Yeah. Don't
make sure you board up before you go.
Like, dude, that's honestly what they probably do.
Yo, remember to mop. Today's Tuesday. Today's mop day. And then, of course, you board up before you go.
Don't forget to board up. We had a guy did not board up last week. Bad things happen.
All hell broke loose. We don't have any more toasters.
Yeah, they stole all of our air fryers. So like, and they're on back order. I mean, you know how COVID is fucking everything up. So like, we're out of air fryers for weeks.
Right. Thank God we have the insurance for it, but you know, we're gonna go 4 weeks without tongs. So that
we're getting the money, but we're not getting the product. So like, realistic. But I mean, what do you now? This might not be something for you that you can easily answer, but what do you think the charges should have been, if not what they were?
No, I think all the charges were proper. Honestly, I didn't even know the charges until this verdict came through, and then I heard 3, and I was like, okay, I'm curious to what 3, and then they're like the main ones. So I'm like, okay, like they could always throw in like, I don't know, tax fraud or something. I don't know why I always think like tax fraud is a nice little like sprinkle on like these heavy criminals, but that's the thing. It's like he's literally not a heavy criminal, so it's like the case seems like this is like a massive criminal that we have captured and sentenced, but it's really not. He did one thing and it was horrible, and now he's gonna pay for it, as he should.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because I think each state has like different classifications for the different types of murder and manslaughter, but I know the highest one he was charged with was second-degree murder,
right.
And I'm just gonna read like the definition from Minnesota. It says second-degree murder can be an intentional killing, but it's not as serious as first-degree murder. Second-degree murder can be charged when a defendant intentionally kills another human being, but the murder is not premeditated. Second-degree murder may result when a person kills out of intense emotional response or impulse. Additionally, killing someone during a drive-by shooting, killing someone during the commission of a crime that is not sexual assault, or killing someone unintentionally while intended to inflict great physical harm to a victim for whom an order of protection was obtained can result in a second-degree murder charge. Second-degree murder has a maximum penalty of 40 years in prison. So, to me, none of those even come remotely close to him, except maybe. But remember, you have to, in court, you have to prove things beyond a reasonable doubt. And I would say maybe. It says when a person kills out of an intense emotional response or impulse. But still, I think the way that's written, it would be that, like, say you, like, you've hit my cat with a car, and I get out.
And you're just pissed.
And I'm pissed, and I just walk up to your window and
just
shoot
kill
you.
me. Yeah.
That's second-degree murder, I think. Because it was complete.
No,
like,
that is.
Yeah, that was impulsive. But what it says, kills out of an intense emotional response or impulse. So that makes me think that, like, for that split second, you are actively trying to kill them. That's how I take that. So I don't understand how they gave him second-degree murder.
I don't know how they proved it, but yeah, I mean, if you watch the video, I would bet it had to do with the video. You know, it's a 9+ minute long video. I haven't watched the whole thing. But I feel like it's kind of at a jury's discretion. You know, the prosecutors are going to do what they do.
Yeah.
But when you watch the video, and then obviously they brought in, I think they brought in like, actually I'm not even going to guess, but I was going to say 90, but that's definitely not right. But like witnesses, I think it was like 10 eyewitnesses.
Yeah.
And they all tell their stories, and they're like, all, you know, I saw the one like old African-American dude, and he was like crying because like he was talking about George Floyd calling out for his mother, and then like his mom just died. So it was like this big emotional moment. And, you know, I feel for the guy, but it's like you can't bring that into consideration, you know?
Yeah. And plus, I also did notice when they were talking, and like this wasn't something that I was thinking about. Like there were things that came up in certain body cam videos or witness videos, and you can hear, like, maybe it's George Floyd saying something. Like I'm not going to do any specifics because I don't remember exactly what was said, but it's just when so much is going on in that quick amount of time, like people see something, because like we can see it because we can see everything that happened from 5 different angles, and we can hear from all different areas around what's happening. So we hear him say like whatever, and then they go after the cops and say, well, we can hear him saying so-and-so. You can hear it in the video. And he's like, well, I wasn't right there during the video. I'm 10 feet away on the other side of the car, like doing what I'm doing. And it was something that I really never thought about, is that all the different people in a crime scene can have completely different accounts of what happened, because so much happens, and you can hear things where other people won't, or see things from different angles, stuff like that. So it was just interesting to think about that. But like third degree murder makes more sense to me because it's not based on having the intent to kill. It's often charged as depraved heart or mind crime. So like if somebody fired a gun into a crowd, like accidentally, and killed somebody, that would be third degree murder. It's also charged when a person is killed and the defendant has an indifference to the sanctity of human life. So that I can understand the
100%.
argument for that.
Yeah.
But second degree, I don't understand at all. But
again, I think it had to do with being at your discretion, watching the video, looking at what happened, and looking specifically at Chauvin the whole time, all 9 minutes. Just being like, did this dude, like, seriously, like, not think about killing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was on his neck for 9 minutes, bro.
Right.
And the dude's like literally like, I can't breathe. Like at that point you wouldn't be like, oh, like maybe I should see if he can breathe.
Well,
like
it also goes past the video, because like within the court there's all different types of evidence, you know, and like part of the argument from the other side of that was that he was saying he couldn't breathe for probably like 25 minutes. Like he was sitting on the side wall saying he couldn't breathe. They put him in the car. He said he couldn't breathe. They put the window down. He said he couldn't breathe. Then he got out of the car. He said he couldn't breathe. So he was like saying it for several minutes before he was even put on the ground. But still, 100%, I'm with you. And also, people don't realize this, but that whole knee on the neck thing, that's part of like Minneapolis's police department's training.
right.
So, like, obviously you can blame Chauvin because he was the one doing it, but there also needs to be major reform in their training, because, like, I mean, I did jujitsu for a fucking year, and, like, I'm fully aware that is just not, it's just not, like, an effective hold. And realistically, I was saying this to Jack, and I was in my living room yesterday and I was testing it out. I'm like, dude, if you're laying on your stomach with your hands behind your back, and I was doing this on like a wood floor and I had a hoodie on, so I can like slide my shoulders to get up to my knees. Now, if I'm on concrete laying next to a car and there's a cop on my one hip and the car on my other hip, it's going to take at least 15 seconds for me to stand up. And, like, the second I try to stand up, they're just going to kick me, and I'm going to roll right back over. So, like, to me, at that point, like, just let him lay there. If he's going to, like, squirm around and try to do something slick, just fucking kick him in the hip, and he's going right back down to the ground. Like, it's that easy. So, right. I mean,
the logic behind the knee thing is just makes no sense at all.
And it's like, dude, if you have like your knee on my neck and nowhere else,
hurts so bad.
That, and like you have no like my center of gravity, like you'd want to be on my chest or like my waist.
Yeah.
But like my neck, like I could still move my whole body, like I could punch you, or like realistically, like if this isn't like a cop situation where you're handcuffed, that hold or whatever you want to call it, that stance does absolutely nothing other than like fucking crush your neck.
Unless you want to actually kill someone.
Yeah, unless you're trying to like crush someone's neck. Like that, that's all you're going to do.
Exactly. But to wrap this up, we both agree Chauvin deserves everything that he is going to get. But yeah, there's just a lot that is going into this that I think a lot of people are not seeing, and they're just blinded by it. And I just love telling people the facts and then having them, after hearing the facts, look me in the eye and then say the same like bullshit brainwash stuff that they were saying. I'd love for that to happen.
The other thing I was going to say, because Pelosi said this too, when and you just said it, which made me think about it. When he was crying, like saying "mama," and he was like crying out for his mama, like that's his girlfriend. That's what he called his girlfriend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they like the prosecutor like used it in court and said like he was screaming for his mom, and then Pelosi said it, but like it was like uncovered. That's what he called his girlfriend.
Well, I mean, if it was uncovered, like people are gonna say what they're gonna say.
I think there was like there was like a I don't know if it was a post or like friends or somebody said like like we've heard him call his girlfriend mama before. And
all right,
like,
play Pelosi's dumbass.
Oh yeah. Where is she?
Like, this is what's wrong with the government.
Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice. Because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous with justice.
Okay, aside from, like, opinion, his name will not be synonymous with justice. Ever.
No.
It's going to be synonymous with, no. Like, no. I mean, like, maybe, like, someone very honorable dying could be like synonymous with justice, like when their killer gets revenge and stuff. I don't want to get into it. Anyways, I do want to.
Like when they killed John Wilkes Booth.
That's what I was going to say. I was literally going to say Abraham Lincoln, but then I didn't know. I don't know what happened in John Wilkes Booth's trial, so I can't say if he got justice.
But that's justice. George, and that's the problem. Like, I don't even want to say this, but it's just facts. Like, I'm offending people with facts, but like, George Floyd isn't like the model citizen, and he's not like the average black person. Like, he wasn't a good dude. He robbed a pregnant woman at gunpoint. Like, he was like 3 times over the deadly level of fentanyl. Like, he had drug problems. He had a previous record of violent robberies, and then like the media wants like every young black man to say, "This is you. This is you." It's like, no, most of you, this isn't you. You're just a normal dude like me and Jack. Like, you're just chilling, trying to live.
Good guy.
And if
you continue to be a good guy, you probably won't get killed by a cop. Like,
you won't. You won't, dude.
Like, you simply won't.
You won't.
Okay.
But it's just this narrative that, and it's the narrative that walking in black is illegal, and that they're making George Floyd the face of black people and like police, not even police brutality, but police racism. And like I said, this case just simply had nothing to do with racism, and George Floyd was not a model citizen whatsoever.
Right.
People don't want to hear it, but that's the truth.
As heated as we just got over this, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, we believe that he got the right sentencing. I mean, give or take, maybe second-degree murder for you, but I really don't care. Like, at this point, like, just put him away. Like,
yeah,
I just want to move on. Now, something I'm actually more heated about is this shooting 2 days ago on April 20th, 2021. It's actually the dumbest,
stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
So I have written here, Columbus shooting of 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant likely just took Breonna Taylor's spot for worst representation of like police brutality / like racist police killing in the common era, and I'd even go as far to say human history. Fuck it. So here are the facts of the situation. At 4:30 around on Tuesday, April 2nd, a call to 911 in Columbus, Ohio, said the words that someone was trying to stab us, and, quote, put hands on the caller's grandmother. And the most important quote, "We need a police officer here now." So what do the police do? Should they not show up? I think that's what...
Continue, and let's get through what happened, and then we'll run through what the fuck he should have done.
So they got there less than 15 minutes later. Very prompt.
Solid response time.
Yeah. Nice job, guys. The officer can be heard yelling.
Realistically, though, dude, if you're getting stabbed and then you have to wait 15 minutes, like,
dude,
I've heard
that's maybe the quickest I've ever heard.
No, I know,
feel like they always get there later.
Yeah, like sometimes it'll be like an hour, and it's like, fuck, dude. But I'm saying, like, an active stabbing is going on. Like, think about how long 15 minutes feels like when someone's chasing you with a fucking kitchen knife.
Well, that kind of connects to what I'm about to say. So they got there less than 15 minutes later. And if you watch the video, again, this is all on body cam video on the cops. The dude rolls up hot in the car. Like, he does like a GTA, like, I'm not parking, like, I'm just going to the scene, skidding.
Yeah.
And then, like, flying out of the door. Like,
pulls in diagonal right in the middle of the street.
Within 5 seconds, there are bodies, like, coming at him.
Yes.
Like, there's someone falling, like,
dude,
on him.
He just gets out. Someone's getting tackled right in front of him. He's like, what's going on? What's going on?
Yes. And then he looks up, right? So he this is what I imagine, right? Because the body cam is as close to, like, being what they're actually seeing.
Yeah, it's like,
as
it's
you
upper
can be.
chest, so yeah.
Right. So a body falls to his feet. He looks down at the body, right? He's like, what's going on? Looks up to immediately a knife like coming in from an angle.
Dude, she was like in her, like, dude, whoever found that screenshot of the body cam, bro,
Oh, yeah,
like,
that was money.
She's in like the perfect backswing. And like, when you see this screenshot, it's like, there is not a more precise time for the cop to pull out his gun and shoot that bitch. Like, she is mid-stab. Like, you can take the single frame and you can see her backswing. You can see the motion too. It's a little blurry. Like, she's already mid-swing. And like, yeah, I mean,
Okay, I'll add to that in a second. So immediately he looks up, right? He sees this woman in the process of stabbing. Like, literally, killing is going to happen in the next 2 seconds, whether you like it or not. I think he yells, get down.
Get down, like, at least 3 or 4 times.
I think I heard it 3 times. And then immediately pulls out his gun and shoots the girl probably like 4 times. And the girl that is about to get stabbed gets away,
She just
doesn't get hit by a single bullet, and escapes with her life perfectly fine. LeBron James, our Lord and Savior, tweets a picture of this cop. Clearly didn't either. Okay, it's a lose-lose here. Either he knows the details and he's just that stupid, or he doesn't know the details and he just decided, I'm going to tweet a picture of the cop with, in all caps, saying, "You're next." #accountability.
Can we just real quick talk about the picture of the cop?
What about it?
Like, when you see the picture of that cop, your first thought is like, okay, if anybody's gonna fuck up on the job, it's probably this dude.
Oh yeah,
He looks like he's like 5'2", like 120,
classic
soaking
white
wet.
pansy,
He has
like-
he has this weird like half sleeve on like his one arm, like this little. Did you see that? Like the little like white shooting sleeve he's wearing or something?
No.
Did you notice
Shooting
that?
sleeve? No.
Dude, if you look at
not.
the picture, he's wearing like a shooting sleeve or something, and he's just like, he has his little glasses. He just looks like a little dweeb. And like, as soon as I saw that picture, I was like, God, they're doing this cop dirty. Whoever took that picture, because he has like a real nice like picture like for the academy, like with the American flag behind him, like looking like nice. Probably doesn't have his glasses on. Then you see him like on the street, like. Slouched back, real short.
I'm wondering where he got the
looking.
screenshot. There might be a video or a longer video that I didn't see, and that's where he got it. But
Yeah, it might have been from
Anyways.
one of the other body cams.
16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant would then bleed to death on the sidewalk right there, where she was shot by this cop. Here are the arguments that we're hearing. I think there's 3 main ones. 1, the cop should have just tased her or tackled her. Like, that could have saved her life and stopped the stabbing. I cannot stress enough how bad I want you to watch the video if you are saying this argument. Because there is not even... Is there even 5 seconds between when he gets out of the car and when he has to shoot her?
Maybe. It might be 5.
I think
from,
it's
like,
5
him getting
to
out
10.
of the car. Yes. But no, from like him, or from the second. Okay, first of all, if you just watch the video and never pause, you don't even realize the girl has a knife. That's
No,
how
you
quick
don't.
it happens.
Yes.
The only reason you know she has a knife is because somebody got a
The
screenshot.
right.
Of her in
I
that
didn't
back-
see the knife the
Yeah,
first
her in
time.
that backswing. Yeah, when you sent it to me, I was like, I don't know, dude. That seems kind of sketchy. Then I went to the comments and I see the screenshot of the bitch in the backswing,
knife.
and I was like, oh, this is 100% like a clean kill. Like, we're good. But
And then clearly, on top of that, I'll just add, right, that they would have tased and
Oh.
tackled if she was white.
that's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying, right?
But
so,
I mean, they also keep bringing up the fact that I've seen this a couple times, that tasers like have around a 50% success rate.
right.
Because like, one, you have to hit both, like the ones that shoot like the projectile, you have to hit both probes to get like a full effect. And then like, if you're wearing like a hoodie and it just like catches your, like, there's all sorts of factors. If you're bigger And like, if you see the screenshot, this girl does not look like a 16-year-old girl.
16. Yeah.
Like
no, I agree.
she looks like a lineman. But
and even so, this is again complete speculation. This is me just rattling. If you were to tase someone who's mid-swing with a knife, they're at least following through. Maybe not with the same power, but like someone's getting hit by the knife.
If you hit me like right here, I'm gonna go and like fall forward like with the knife still in my hand, and
Right,
like I'm
and
at
again,
least
this is-
slashing someone.
Right. Exactly. Like maybe it's not puncture, but it's at least massive gash slide across something. But anyways, that's besides the point. That is argument number 1. Argument number 2. So they said that the cops were called because, and this is in hindsight, she was getting attacked. So the girl, Ma'Khia Bryant, was getting attacked, and she was like defending herself. Someone even said like defending her household. Like, I don't know if it was an attempted robbery. I mean, we don't even know why there was a dispute in the first place.
Right.
But so of course they're gonna be like, she was the victim, like blah blah blah. But then it's like, okay, so should he have shot the girl in the pink? Like, should he have tackled her? Like, I don't know what you want. Like, there's literally an attempted murder occurring in front of his face.
Also, dude, like, if you look at the media coverage, like, when this first came out, it said, like, cops shot, fatally, like, kill 16-year-old girl holding knife. It's like, okay, she was not holding the knife. It's not like just standing there, like, my butter knife's in my hand. She was in the backswing. She was mid-swing. She was mid-stab. And so, like, they say, like, yeah, she was just holding a knife and the cops shot her. Like, she was just holding it. Like, no. Like, watch the video and just watch. She's not holding it. She's swinging. She's swinging a kitchen knife at somebody.
I'll do you one worse. When I was doing the research for this about an hour or two ago, the New York Times article, the subhead said, cops claim she had a knife.
Yeah, right.
So they're just like pinning it on the cops. They're like, yeah, we didn't watch the video. Like,
it's like, we're not going to believe
they
the
said
cops.
she had a knife.
They claim
like,
she has a knife.
Yeah,
it's like,
they said she had a knife. I mean, she had a knife. Like, they like do the like quotes. Like, they should have put quotes around knife just to go all in on it.
Bro, there's somebody in here right now, and they're commenting some stuff, and I'm sure you'll have some words to say about it. They said, this is the Mr. Friendly. I don't know who this is, but they said, to be honest, in the shadow of the trial, I'm surprised that the cop even took action. Should have waited for a cop of the same racial phenotype as the perp to show up and handle it. Sit back and play mall cop security in the meantime. And I said, and just watch the girl get stabbed. He said, pretty much, cops should be helping people so long as the people, or cops should just stop helping people so long as the people turn on the cops. You need more accuracy. You need to be successful with probes, and it doesn't always work. Shorter range and only one shot. This is why the cops stop helping until the appropriate cop of the appropriate race/gender arrives to deal with a perp. If this kid's like not trolling me, that's like the most leftist, pussy, stupid shit I've ever heard in my fucking life.
No, he's not true. That dude's definitely, what's his name?
Mr. Friendly.
First of all, Mr. Friendly, thank you for being in the chat.
Yes.
Second of all, I would almost put my life savings on the fact that you are trolling the left, because it's almost so much of a troll that it's not. Like, you're almost making like really good points.
That's
like,
the thing. They're like, the shit that some people on the left say is so absurd. I don't know if this is a joke or not. He said, I'm actually super conservative, but I also thinks the cops should just stop helping. So maybe his thoughts are just like, fuck it, dude, defund the police, see what happens. Maybe that's what he's saying. I don't know.
No,
I've seen people
I don't
say
think
that.
he's saying that at all, bro. I think he's saying something that's a troll. But again, if you told that to someone on the left, they'd laugh at you,
Yeah,
and then
he
you'd be
said-
like, "Well, what do you want from us?" Like
He said, "Let the purge happen." Yeah, so I think he is trolling. Luckily, but there are probably people who think. I'm going to read this again. He said, "This is why the cops just stop helping until the appropriate cop of the appropriate race/gender arrives to deal with the perp." Now just imagine if like the cop shows up, he's like, fuck, they're
He's
black.
like, oh,
All right,
dude.
Greg, could you get here in like 10 minutes? It's
Yeah.
like, shit, like I could be there in like 25. By the time he shows up, there's like 13 dead teenagers laying there from fucking stab wounds.
Right. So
And then we
I
can
get where
get
he's
in,
coming from.
we can get into like what you said at the beginning here is like, okay, if the cop did the wrong thing, please tell me exactly what
You would do.
what they should have done.
Well, I just want to say, like, okay, let's say you are trained in the police academy. Let's say you have the best training possible. What would you literally have done? What would you have done in that situation that he didn't?
Obviously, I don't have the training, so I don't know like what the training is. But from just a normal citizen looking at this, I see that he single-handedly saved a young woman's life.
At least one person's life.
At least one.
Because let's just say he didn't shoot her for like the next like minute.
She could have just.
She's just going around. So, I'll end with this. There were two other police shootings in Columbus Police Department since December, leading to African Americans dying. One already leading to an officer getting charged with murder, awaiting trial. So they're in like a Chauvin situation already in the same police department. So you know they're going to use that. Second, the aunt of Ma'Khia Bryant says, quote, I know there are de-escalation tactics that could have been used. You killed a teenage girl that could have been avoided. Yeah, I'm not even going to say anything. I mean, we've already covered that. She says her niece had a knife because she was, quote, defending herself and she was being attacked. So we already kind of hit that too.
Also, I saw somebody say, and this is like pretty true. Like, have you ever heard of somebody defending themselves with a knife?
I mean, yeah.
Like you don't carry around a knife to defend yourself. Like
Well, no, I mean,
nobody's defending themselves with like what are you defending yourselves with? Like a knife is for like attacking. And then on the news they were also calling it a knife fight. I think like NBC called it a knife fight. And they're like, this is just a classic schoolyard knife fight. He should have just broke it up. It's like, dude, it's not a knife fight when one person's getting stabbed with a kitchen knife.
right. I didn't see a knife in the pink shirt's hand.
Yeah, that's a stabbing. It's not a knife fight. And also like the fact that they just like casually said like schoolyard knife fight. Have you ever heard of a human being in a knife fight? Like outside of a movie? Ever. No. It doesn't happen. Nobody gets into a fucking knife fight. That's like some karate, like samurai movie shit.
So I kind of want to talk about my opening statement with this, which is that, or I want to know your thoughts on this being like worse than the Breonna Taylor thing, because I don't think we ever talked about Breonna Taylor's case on this podcast, and we've wanted to multiple times. We've texted each other like we should talk about it, and we've just been like, I mean, it's not really a full podcast episode, you know. We want to do a BLM episode at some point and just kind of voice our opinions. But what do you think about this being actually like a laughing stock?
Like this is just like single-handedly the weakest argument I've ever seen the media try to, like the weakest tool to push their narrative. It's just like you can pick this shit apart so easily.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like it's the easiest thing.
It didn't even take like, so when all the George Floyd shit came out immediately, like it took time to get all the information and realize that like some shit might have been blown out of proportion and like we didn't know all the details. This like happened, the body cam comes out the same day. We know like everything that happened pretty much. We know all that we need to know is that we saw a girl actively trying to stab someone. Dude, and we saw a cop single-handedly save the other girl's life. And Ben Shapiro made this point, and it's so true, but nobody thinks about it. If the cops just didn't show up that day, nobody would give a fuck.
Nope. That's
if that black girl just, if the black girl, if Ma'Khia Bryant just stabbed the other girl, we would never hear about it. 1,000%. And the reason I know this is because 2 days ago in Cincinnati, a 13-year-old black girl was stabbed to death. And there was absolutely no media coverage except for locally. So it just shows that they just take whatever they can and whatever they think they can use to push their narrative, and they use it. And they're getting fucking lazy because this was just so lazy and stupid that it was so easy to pick apart and say, like, you're just bullshitting and you're just trying to push your narrative and trying to start shit where it isn't. And I mean, it was just like, it's funny. It's sad, but it's funny that they think that they can just throw out like any sort of case that involves a black person and just be like racism. Boom.
So here's my point. So let's just say we live in a world where Black Lives Matter never existed. And you saw this case on the news with no like past narratives in your head. I would see cops show up extremely timely, like in the nick of time, and save the lives of multiple African American citizens.
Yep.
What did I just say that's false?
You're racist, dude.
Like, the cops were perfect. I don't even know what else to say. Like, they handled
were, honestly,
it perfectly.
And the girl in the pink was the one who called the cops. And there was a body cam footage from the other cop, and like after the fact, and he like kind of walks over to the side with her, and she was like, yeah, like she was trying to stab me, and the cop got her. So like the girl fully acknowledged that she was like about to get stabbed, and the cop stopped it. And like, why is nobody having like this girl to talk about what happened on the news? Because she's probably gonna say that cop saved my life.
Yes, 100%.
And nobody wants to hear that.
No one wants to hear a cop did their job. No one.
Like people were saying, like back in my day, like this would be on, like this dude would be a goddamn hero. Like people would be out in the streets, like, thank you, sir. Like,
yes,
this place is safer because of you. Like you literally just saved a human life. Like, thank you.
Well, someone was saying like what if the girl in the pink shirt that got saved was LeBron's daughter? Would he be tweeting, "You shouldn't have killed her. Like, you're next, bro." Like,
right.
Like, dude, what?
And like people are saying like the other side. They're like, "What if Micaiah was your daughter?" It's like, well, I hope my daughter's not trying to fucking stab somebody.
And if she is, I would completely understand if she gets shot for it.
Yeah, it's her fault. Like, don't fucking try to stab somebody. Mr. Friendly just added, and yeah, I think he's cool. He said, "This is my point. Cops handled it perfectly and are still being attacked." Which is true.
That's a great segue into what I want to kind of finish with on Black Lives Matter here. And just like reflecting on the past year, right? It's been almost a year since George Floyd. We've now gotten the sentencing. And now we're getting thrown like this BS case of like cops kill black girl, 16-year-old girl. They're using the age hard too.
Yes.
Hard.
Child. They keep saying child. Child murdered.
Yes.
By police. It's like, no, she tried to murder somebody and was stopped.
Actually, child saved.
Yes.
I don't know if you have anything else to say, really. There's really nothing else to say besides, like, it's getting, you said it perfect, it's getting laughable. It's honestly getting to the point where, like, people are waking up and, like, I'm now at this point just like rolling my eyes and laughing like at a case like this.
I think it was either Pelosi or Jen Psaki, who's like the she's like the, what's that? Is it like the spokesperson for the White House? Is that the title? Press secretary, so. Maybe.
I think it's press secretary.
Press secretary, like what Kayleigh McEnany and Sarah Huckabee were. Yeah. But she was like. She said something that just, like, made me cringe. And she was like, I can't remember exactly what she said, but basically it was like, we were so hopeful that this was, like, right after, like, since we just got the news from the Floyd trial, like, we were so hopeful that this was, like, a new beginning. and like not even a day later we have this terrible news of a 16-year-old getting killed by police. And it's like you don't have to publicize the piss out of this. You could have just like not mentioned it, because it's not worth mentioning unless you're saying like this is what should be done. But she just like acted, she's like, like damn, like I really thought that like she was just being like this fake like hopeful like oh shit, I really thought that we like made a change, and like now look what just happened the next day. It's like, yeah, look what happened the next day. The cop just saved a black woman's life. But like to them it's like, no, a cop killed a black girl. Child too.
Here's what I end with. So I'll preface this by saying, one, I do not consider myself a racist person. Love all races. Honestly, don't give a fuck about your race. Second, by percentage, more white people are killed by cops every year. That's just a fact. You could go to probably thousands of websites and it'll say the same thing.
There's no statistic to like back up the narrative that BLM has.
And so with those two prefaces, this is what I will say. If you just follow the law, you're not going to get killed by a cop. Unless it's a complete accident. And then, like, yeah, that's, like, definitely on them. Like, you know, like, stray bullet, you know, like, type of thing. Definitely on the cop. But how many cases are because of criminal activity? Like, let's just say, like, criminal activity had anything to do with the case. Anything. And this kind of goes back to Breonna Taylor. Like, anything at all. Let's see what would have happened if there was no criminal activity involved. How about we all just follow the law and follow the rules and hope that you don't die?
That's and then like they brought up like I know people brought up Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Because like he didn't get killed, and they brought up
oh yeah, that was the one I forgot.
Nicholas Cruz, who was he Parkland?
Yep.
Yeah.
Florida.
So they brought up Kyle Rittenhouse, Nicholas Cruz, and one other person. So there was two mass shooters, and then Kyle Rittenhouse, who shot and killed. Was it two people?
I think it was two people in Minneapolis during the riots.
And then he was just like arrested peacefully. And the difference is, and this is just like a very clear difference, and like whether you agree with it or not, that's just what the law is. If I could stand there and kill a cop, and the reinforcement cops show up, they can't kill me unless I'm still aiming my gun. Unless I'm still an active threat, they can't kill me.
By law.
So
right.
By law, even though they know that I single-handedly just took a life myself, or if I killed 30 people and they show up, if I put my hands up, they cannot hurt me. They cannot kill me. They can kick the piss out of me, but they can't shoot me. And like they showed like the arrest of Kyle Rittenhouse, and like that was a little sketchy.
I've seen it.
Like,
no, it's definitely sketchy. I mean,
he's walking down the street with his hands up, but like at one point you see like he reaches down and like kind of readjusts it, and like it's like, dude, okay. It was like pretty clear that he wasn't like going to like grab it and shoot, but people have gotten shot for less than that, so I do understand that. But people like Nicholas Cruz and whoever the other shooter they showed getting arrested was, like, they just complied, dude. Like, they caught them and they said, like, put your hands up, and they put their hands up and got arrested, and that was it. So, like, really, no matter how much trouble you're in,
you're not going to die. Just
go limp, dude. Just go limp. If, like, whatever they're trying to do, just let them do it. If they're pulling your arm right, move right with them. Like, don't pull away. Like, just don't fucking resist. Just do whatever that you got to do, and like you're gonna get out of there fine. You'll be all right. It's really that simple, but like they have to explode it into this huge thing that like, no, it's not because he had a knife in his car. It's not because he did this. It's because he's black. It's like, no, it's not. Because it happens plenty of times where black dudes, like the couple of people who were with George Floyd, they were very peaceful, put their hands up, gave their IDs, they were let go. That was it. Like it's just super simple, and it's just frustrating that people.
Right, because we don't want to see people die.
I don't want to. That's what I'm saying.
I don't want anyone
like,
to die, bro. Like, I want everyone to live so bad.
Like George Floyd didn't deserve to die.
No,
like, dude,
I wish he was alive, bro.
All you had to do was just like stop freaking out and just sit in the back of the car quietly. Like that's it. But
and the one last week with the woman cop who said she pulled her taser and it was actually a gun and shot. As stupid as that is, as much as like I'm like, yeah, she sucks. Like I mean, like charge her with whatever. If homie just didn't run, like just get arrested, bro. If you didn't do anything wrong, then why do you care about getting arrested?
Even if you did do something wrong, dude, if I have a pound of heroin in my car, I'm going to get in a little less trouble if I cooperate than if I try to run away. Because then I'm just going to get charged with the heroin and running away. So, like, no, they're going to get you. So just make it a little easier for them. It'll go a long way. That's all I can say.
Yeah. That was a good way to end because, honestly, yeah, the bottom line is, like, I so bad don't want people to die. Like, I hate seeing people die that don't deserve it. It's really the bottom line. Like, how about going every day and trying not to die? That should be, like, the thing, like.
Yeah. Also, like, I mean, this is, like, kind of off topic, but kind of not. But BLM just needs to get their fucking. They either need to rebrand themselves to, like, an anti-cop organization, or they need to actually start caring about black lives. Because, like, they need to do one or the other. Because at this point, it's really just a cop hate organization, and they never seem to want to comment that, like, the leading cause of death for black males under, like, 50 is black males homicide. Like, they don't want to talk about that shit.
They don't.
They want to talk about, like, the 20 times a year that unarmed black person gets killed by a cop, where it's like 80 white people a year.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like every time we talk about politics too, it's like I'm exhausted because it's like it's gotten to that point. Like, what happened to just when we just like cared about like Iraq? Remember that? Like when we just like cared about Iraq.
Yeah, like all the problems were like the other people.
Yeah. Or I'm trying to think like.
I can't remember the last time like our major problem was like not an American thing.
Oh, yeah. I just remember, like, I feel like in high school,
like
early high school.
The Russia shit with Trump.
Yeah.
That was like the most recent time that we've, like, our problem has been the country. But that, like, didn't, I don't even know. I don't think that even really happened. Well, that's it for our BLM bullshit episode. We did want to get to kind of our plans for the next coming months because I am going to be doing something interesting that if I had to guess, I would say nobody listening has done, unless my cousin Joel is listening, then he has done this because I'm doing it with him. I will be working in Alaska this summer on a boat. The boat is called a tender boat. So it's not like a fishing boat. We're not going to be catching fish, but we transport from the fishing boat to us, and then we take all the fish to the cannery. So like the factories that process all the shit. So my June through August and possibly part of September, we'll be living on a 100-foot boat in the middle of the Bering Sea in Alaska. So a lot of people have told me I'm fucking stupid and I'm probably going to die. And I agree, that's possible. But it'll be a great experience. Like I said, I don't know anybody except my cousin who got me the job. I don't know anybody who's been to Alaska, let alone like those remote ass parts of Alaska. So I think it'll just be a kick-ass experience, and who knows, maybe I'll end up loving it, and this could end up being my my gig. We'll see.
Yeah. When you told me about it, I was like, you're right. Like, I've never met anyone who's, like, spent his summer on a fishing boat.
Yeah, and then I saw this other thing. This is kind of unrelated, but it made me think about this. It was this dude. It was like a Navy SEAL or like a hunter or something. He was talking about how there's like different types of fun. There's like the quick adrenaline fun, like sex or like a roller coaster or whatever, like a Steeler game, something like that. But he said then there's like the real fun where while you're doing it, you're fucking miserable. But like years later, you look back and you and your boys are like joking about like, bro, you remember how fucking shitty, like say you took like a camping trip and it was raining the whole time. Like in the moment, it's terrible. But looking back, you're like, bro, dude, it was raining for like 72 straight hours, bro. It sucked so bad.
Like,
but you and your
like,
boys
we were soaked. Like we had to like,
dude, it
go
was
under
miserable.
the,
But like while you're telling the story, you like can't help but smile and like laugh because you like it's like it's a different type of fun and like enjoyment where it's like you struggle through it, but looking back on it, you're like, I'm glad I did it. It was it was a good time. And 100%. Then you will be what are your plans? You'll be in Pittsburgh, huh?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to move back to Pittsburgh for a little bit. I think it'll be a good opportunity.
As soon as you come back to Pittsburgh, I was like, oh, yeah, by the way, like, this is the first summer in my life that I won't be here.
Yeah. And by the time you're back, I'll be gone. So,
sick.
You know, really my reasoning is quite simple. I'm just trying to make a change, as I've done, I feel like 10 times on this podcast. I've said the words like, I'm trying to make a change. But yeah, I'm trying to make a change while also saving money. So I just think it'll be one of those summers that, who knows? I don't know actually if I'm going to move to Pittsburgh, quote unquote move. I think I'm just going to try to spend the summer like visiting a bunch of different places for long periods of time. So it's kind of like a travel type of summer. But yeah, I think I'm lucky enough to have a job right now that I can work remote. And so I'm going to take advantage of that while I can, while also thinking about, you know, the future and the future of this podcast, truly. You know, we have a lot of decisions to make. We always appreciate you listeners that have stuck with us for so long now. I mean, it's coming up on like a year and a half that we've had this podcast. We go through our little lulls of it, but, you know, nonetheless, it's whatever we want to do. It's whatever we want to make of it. And I hope this is kind of like what you said. Like this podcast, while it's not miserable doing it, obviously. No. But it's like one of those things in like 50 years we like can look back on and be like, wow, like remember that one episode, like how pissed we were about Chauvin, you know, like some shit like that.
Fucking Chauvin.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good connection there.
But yeah, I mean, we'll keep you posted with what our plans for the summer will be. It'll probably realistically just be a 3 months of silence. But we will see closer to that time. Plus, I don't know, maybe Jack will kind of branch off to his own thing, do a few episodes with some of the friends over the summer or whatever he wants to do, just to keep getting content out there. We'll see as we go, but we do appreciate all the love and support that you guys have shown over the past year plus, and we're just gonna keep doing our thing.
As always, follow us on Instagram at TubeStationPod for updates on episodes and what is going on with us. So thank you for listening. Peace out, and as always,